Welcome to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. Coming up on today's podcast, the Browns lose their finale and end a 4-game winning streak. But they're already in the playoffs. They had nothing to play for today, and now we know who they'll be playing against in the first week of the playoffs. I'll give you the point spread. I'll talk about what's still up in the air. That and more on the final day of the regular season in the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers.
You're watching Adam the Bull on the Bet Rivers Network.
Get extra value this football season with Bet Rivers Squares. Win up to $10,000 in bonus money. Bet $10 in same-game parlays on any game with the Squares icon to earn a square. So, I know usually on the Sunday post-game podcast, I spend a lot of time recapping the game, living the moments. But no reason to do it for this game. The Browns obviously did not play very many of their key players. Jerome Ford played a little. Kareem Hunt played a little. Not much. He had 1 touch in this game. Jerome Ford had 5 touches in the game. Pierre Strong played a lot. I thought he played well in this game. He had 14 carries for 65 yards. Nothing, earth-shattering or anything. Most of the starters on defense did not play. You had Martin Emerson listed as a starter, but I don't know if he even played. He didn't have a tackle or any stats in the game. So the Browns treated this game like what it was. Let's get through it. Let's see some young guys play. Now, the guys that played didn't play particularly well. The defense was awful in this game. With mostly backups playing. We had a conversation on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show earlier this week about would the Browns defense, because of Jim Schwartz, still be able to be a top 15 defense if all the starters didn't play? And not that one game proves anything. That's silly. But the point is you need players. Jim Schwartz was a great hire by the Cleveland Browns, a great hire by Kevin Stefanski. And he's done an absolutely fantastic job. But the bottom line, as it has always been, is it's all about the players. The coach matters, but the coach doesn't matter as much as I think many fans and even media members think. The Browns were much better this year on defense. A lot of it because of the talent. Certainly, Jim Schwartz contributed. No doubt, important piece. I don't mean to downgrade it. I'm just saying it's ultimately the players. The Browns had better players on defense this year. Believe it or not, they actually stayed healthier on defense this year. Hard to say about the Browns because they've had so many injuries, but most of their key injuries have been on the offensive side of the ball. They've had some key injuries on defense, but they've mostly been short-term on the defensive side of the ball. But today, they didn't have any of their good players, or most of their good players didn't play. Ronnie Hickman, who has done a great job the last few weeks, he played. But Ronnie Hickman and Alex Wright are really the only guys that have been big contributors. Cameron Mitchell a little bit too are the only guys that have been big contributors that played on the defense. Sacks in the game. By the way, Alex Wright had sacks 4 games in a row. Browns had 3 total sacks. Offensively, I gave you the Pierre Strong numbers. Jeff Driscoll was pretty bad. Did throw 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter. The Browns are down 31-0. Finishes 13 of 26, 166, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Not fair to really judge him with the talent he had around him today. David Bell did have a nice game, 4 for 68 and 2 touchdowns. Cedric Tillman, this continues to be an issue on that interception early in the game. He stopped his route. I don't know if he was complaining to the official. That's the way it looked to me. I didn't like that. He's got a lot to work on this offseason. He's got to get a lot better. He is not doing a good job route running. But the guys who didn't play were the guys he expected not to play, and now the Browns trying to get healthy. Agbo Okoronkwo, he did play. I thought he had played a little bit. He didn't have to put up any stats. But he's ready to go. So he's going to be back for the playoffs, which is a great addition. He's their 3rd best defensive end. Shelby Harris got banged up in this game a little bit, but the report is he's okay. Cedric Tillman, by the way, is in the concussion protocol. And Agbo did play a little today. He wanted to get used to wearing the harness. Obviously, he's got the torn pec. He's playing with it. and he said he feels good. He wanted to get used to playing with the harness that he's going to have to play with in the playoffs. A couple of other notes in terms of the Browns, injury-wise, Pierre Strong left the game early. That's why Ford was playing in the fourth quarter with a back injury. And as I said, Cedric Tillman is in the concussion protocol. And Shelby Harris, his injury is undisclosed. But he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. A lot to get to around the league in terms of what this means, but in terms of the meaning and the playoff situation that we're in, what we do know is the Houston Texans, who won yesterday, will be the Browns' opponent. They win the AFC South. An unbelievable job by the Texans, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback. Both have done a magnificent job. D'Amico Ryans is the toughest competition, I think, for Kevin Stefanski. One of those two will win Coach of the Year. I would vote for Kevin Stefanski. I may be biased, but that's who I would vote for. The Browns will play at the Texans. We don't know when. There's a 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock games on Saturday, 1, 4, and 8 on Sunday, and then the Monday Night Football game. My guess is the Browns will be the Saturday night game on Peacock, but we'll see. And some fans are going to be angry as hell if that game's on Peacock, but it is what it is. The Browns are the 5, the Texans are the 4. The Steelers have made the playoffs, unbelievably. By the way, with the Bengals beating the Browns, all 4 AFC North teams finished over 500. It's the first time that's happened in the modern NFL. It was, I think, 1935 was the last time every team in the division finished over 500. Now, to have some context, it's only been 14 divisions, not that long. There used to be the old AFC Central days. It was 5 teams. For a while, it was 6. So it's a little easier with 4, but still, it's never been done with the 4 until now. So the Bengals finishing last at 9 and 8. But the Steelers are in the playoffs. They will be the set. If the Bills win tonight, the Bills will be the 2 seed, and the Dolphins will be the 6. The Steelers will be the 7. If the Dolphins win tonight, then they'll be the 2. The Steelers will be the 6. And the Bills will be the 7. The Chiefs are in that 3 spot no matter what happens. And the Ravens are in the 1 spot. As of right now, and I'm doing this podcast just as the 425 games are starting, the Niners are the 1, the Lions are the 2. But the Lions won't finish as the 2 unless both the Cowboys and Eagles lose today, which is unlikely. The Buccaneers did win the NFC South. Baker Mayfield terrible the last 2 weeks, but his defense carries him over the finish line in a 9-0 win over awful Carolina, and it still battles for the 7 seed as of this recording. But what we care most about is the Browns and the Texans. The Browns, I look at the Bet Rivers point spreads. The Browns have opened here at the Bet Rivers Sportsbook as a 2.5-point favorite. That'll be interesting to see if that moves at all. I'm actually a little surprised by that. I thought the Texans might be a slight favorite in this game. The Browns would have been a huge favorite if it had been Jacksonville, because Jacksonville fell apart. By the way, the Jags had a chance. Calvin Ridley dropped one that could have been a potential game-tying touchdown. They would have needed to get a 2-point conversion. Unbelievable that the Jaguars, last year the Jaguars got hot at the end of the season to make the playoffs. This year they fall apart at the end of the season to miss the playoffs. But now we go full bore ahead. The Browns going on the road. Browns did finish 3-5 on the road. I think it's misleading. I feel very good as we start this week about the Browns' chances of winning in Houston. Obviously, Houston, of the 3 teams they could have possibly played heading into this weekend, would have been my last choice because I think they're the best of the 3 teams. But I think the Browns are better than the Texans. Bet Rivers, the guys who make the point spread for Bet Rivers obviously agree, because even though the game's in Houston, the Browns are nearly a field goal favorite. So obviously C.J. Stroud is a threat, but the Texans, Nico Collins is their best receiver. He's a good player. He's not great. The rest of their wide receiving core right now is nothing special. Devin Singletary's played great at running back. He's not I wouldn't call him a great back, but he's played great of late, so I'll give him that credit there. And then when it comes to tight end, they have Dalton Schultz, who's a nice player, but nothing special. And defensively, I don't think they're very good. But this game will be a challenge. The Browns just beat the Texans a couple weeks ago, but that was with Case Keenum. C.J. Stroud is another animal. He's the best quarterback the Browns have faced in a while, and he will be a challenge. But I like the Browns' chances. The first team defense should be fresh. You got Corey Bojorquez back this week. Hopefully, Dustin Hopkins will be able to play next week in the playoffs. You get Nagbo back. Amari Cooper should be good to go after getting 2 weeks off. Hopefully, his heel is doing better. So the Browns can get some more guys back healthy. Juan Thornhill should be back next week. I haven't heard anything about Grant Delpit. We'll keep an eye on him potentially being back this week, but I doesn't feel like that's going in that direction. I think in terms of the injured guys, everybody's going to be back. The biggest question is Dustin Hopkins. That they need him. Another question heading into this week is who's going to be the backup quarterback? Now, if Joe Flacco goes down, the Browns are screwed because neither P.J. Walker is any good, or Jeff Driscoll. Couldn't think of his name for a minute. Neither one of those guys is any good. I'd be curious. Stefanski started Driscoll today. He didn't play particularly well. He was in a tough spot to succeed. So I have no idea who he's going to pick as their number 2. My guess is he will make Jeff Driscoll the number 2, but that's just a pure guess. So we'll see how that ends up playing itself out. But I think it'll be Driscoll. Just got to keep Joe Flacco healthy. The offensive line, Bitonio, Teller, Posick, they all got some rest today, which was good. They needed it. All 3 of those guys have been banged up. Hopefully they'll be fresh and ready to go. Remember, the Browns played Thursday last week, so all these guys that didn't play this week will have 17 days off. And for Amari Cooper, it's 3 weeks because Amari Cooper didn't play on Thursday. So hopefully all these, and obviously Ogbo hasn't played in a while, and Hopkins hasn't played in 3 weeks. So that's it. If Cooper's good, Myles Garrett should be nice and fresh. We're now over a month since the shoulder injury. Denzel Ward got some more rest today, which was important. I know it was ugly. I know there's going to be some people that are, we lost our momentum and all that stuff. I don't believe any of that. I think the Browns are going to come out and play a hell of a game. Obviously, we'll break that game down more as things go along. One other thing I wanted to hit on after the game. So the Saints just demolished the Falcons today, 48-17. And they scored a late touchdown. Apparently, the team wanted to get Jamal Williams in the end zone for whatever reason. After the game, Arthur Smith, and they scored with 3 seconds left to make a 41-17 game, 48-17. Apparently, after the game, not apparently, I saw it, Arthur Smith went bananas, was yelling at Dennis Allen. He was angry. This is the NFL. It's not high school. Not even college. These are professional athletes. You're going to get mad because they score. Stop it. How about that, Arthur Smith? That's why you're a clown and a joke as a head coach. And Dennis Allen apologized. I mean, whatever. I don't know why he apologized after the game. I mean, could you be any softer? I would fire Arthur Smith's ass out of there. Are there really members? I got to look over this. I think there's members of NFL media that are like defending Arthur Smith on this. This is ridiculous. Meanwhile, Sam Laporta hurt his knee as the Lions, listen, the Lions technically could have been the 2 seed today, but they needed both the Eagles and the Cowboys to lose to the Giants and Washington. It was so unlikely, but that's the way Dan Campbell plays. He does meathead football. I love it, but, that's what happens. And apparently, Dan Campbell said the injury isn't as bad as it looked. He got carted off the field. I mean, they need Laporta for the playoffs. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't understand why Dennis Allen felt the need to apologize. Arthur Smith acted like a fool after the game, in my opinion. I don't know. Hopefully nobody in NFL media is defending this embarrassingness from Arthur Smith. Just completely ridiculous. And we'll find out in the next 24 hours who gets fired. Arthur Smith certainly could be fired. Bill Belichick might be the end of an era. Looks like he's going to be out in New England. Ron Rivera almost certainly out in Washington. Could we see coaching changes? There's a lot of places we could see coaching changes in the NFL. I don't think there's any doubt about it. We could see coaching change in both New York teams. I don't think so, but it's possible. Mike Vrabel may leave Tennessee. If I'm the Titans, I definitely wouldn't fire him. Going to have a new head coach with the Chargers, obviously. Panthers, I know it's one season, but they were hideous. And they traded away their first overall pick. Unbelievable. Raiders, will they stick with Antonio Pierce? They probably should. Who else could change coaches? I think the Bears, the way they've played down the stretch, probably not going to have a change there. I think that's probably it. I mean, I think where else could there be a change? I think that's it. We shall see. But we are set. We are all set for a big week leading up to the Browns and the Texans. Can't wait. We should find out probably late tonight or probably early tomorrow when the Browns will be playing. Again, my guess is the Saturday night game, which is a Peacock exclusive. And so we'll do that. And so we'll be back with you on Tuesday. We'll have all the injury updates. We'll start looking ahead with Dustin Hopkins because that, to me, is huge for this playoff run, especially once you start playing better teams if they're able to beat Houston. If the Browns win and none of the teams behind them win, they will play the Texans in the second round. If they win and by the way, it's possible, again, the Browns could play a home game in the second round. Now, with the Steelers getting in, I think it's unlikely, but I guess you never know. Right? The 6 and 7 seeds are going to be the Steelers and the loser of the Dolphins-Bills game. If the Browns, whoever's Bills or Dolphins is the wild card team, and the Steelers all win, then the Browns will host. It's possible that the Browns could host the Steelers next week. That is possible. Or not next week, but in 2 weeks in the second round of the playoffs. If the Bills lose to the Dolphins tonight and then beat the Dolphins next week, and the Steelers beat the Chiefs, I know very unlikely, but you never know, and the Browns beat the Texans, then the Browns would host Pittsburgh. And then the Bills would go to Baltimore. That is a possibility. Again, unlikely, but it's a possibility for next week. That would be a great scenario for the Browns. All right, that's it for today. Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's going to be a great week here in the bullpen. It's going to be a great week on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It's very simple. It costs you nothing. Just click on that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. How about a thumbs up for the podcast? Thanks to Monzo and Max for producing as always. And we'll talk to you next time. Where else but right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See ya.